From Royal Communications Incorporated, good evening and welcome to King's Newsroom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Today is Wednesday, August 20, 2025, and I'm Shemon Dia presenting. And the headlines: two U.S. congressmen visiting Liberia cover reform in President Donald Trump's policy on immigration and visa restriction across Africa. Said there's no need for visa denial for people seeking entry to the U.S. World Health Organization country representative warns Liberian government against delay in tackling drug smuggling and abuse. With Dr. Olusayo Olu emphasizes that Liberia's ongoing drug crisis could erode the future of the nation and its youth. And also in the news tonight, opposition party Citizens Movement for Change refutes ruling United Party chairman claims of possible discussion for political alliance. CMC vows never to engage into any dialogue with the UP, describing the ruling party as notorious, corrupt, and deceptive. Away from home, M3 rebels killed at least 140 people in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo last month in one of the worst atrocities by the armed group since its insurgency in late 2021, Human Rights Watch has said in a report. A leading conservationist in South Africa charged with smuggling rhino horns with 14 million has insisted he has nothing to hide. This plus a news bulletin, voices of those making the news at our package, but take a short break to be right back. Welcome back at this juncture with John Sam Andrews with the news bulletin.
A two-man delegation of United States Congress are currently visiting Liberia have frowned at U.S. Embassy's denial of Africans who intend to travel to the U.S. Speaking on OKFM Wednesday in Monrovia, Senator Jack Reed and Representative Gabi Amo of Roy Island emphasized that many citizens of the U.S. are immigrants from other countries, adding that there is a need to reduce the aspect of denial of visa for people seeking entry into the United States. The two congressmen also called for reforms into President Donald Trump administration policy on immigration and visa restrictions across Africa. Representative Amo, who particularly has a Liberian heritage, said, without being overly critical of the Trump administration, he will advocate for fairness in recognizing culture, family, and economic ties between the United States and Africa by not being treated differently from other continents. According to him, as it relates to history, a thoughtful and responsible approach should be encouraged in building stronger ties, adding support is key for constituent services, perspective in the know of a broader system changes that are being undertaken. Senator Reid, who backed Representative Amo comments, said except for indigenous Americans, the U.S. is a land of immigrants and frown on President Trump for what they describe as refusal visa immigration of people of color into the country. The U.S. Africa relations are multifaceted, encompassing economic, security, and diplomatic aspects, with a history shaped by both cooperation and tension. While the U.S. has expressed commitment to strengthening ties with African nations based on mutual respect and shared interest, the relationship is often perceived as asymmetrical, with the U.S. holding a dominant position. The World Health Organization country representative, Dr. Olushayo Olu, has cautioned the Liberian government against what she called delay in the fight against illicit drugs across the country. Speaking Wednesday during the Presidential Multi-Sectorial Committee engagement with service providers and international partners, Dr. Olu said inaction could result in devastating consequences for Liberia. She warned that if care is not taken immediately, the drug crisis could erode the future of the nation. The Presidential Multi-Sectorial Committee engagement in Monrovia Wednesday brought together service providers, policy makers, and international partners to deepen collaboration, strengthen referral pathways, and explore innovative innovations to confront the substance use in the country. Addressing a team of medical practitioners and partners at the engagement earlier, Health Minister Dr. Luis Poto underscored the role of private sector in implementing government's efforts against the fight trade of drug and substance abuse. According to her, the ministry is in full readiness to work with all sectors and development partners to provide quality services and improve referral pathways of substance users. The Citizens Movement for Change has strongly rejected ruling Unity Party Chairman Luther Tape's assertion of possible talks to be held between both parties for political alliance. In a statement issued Wednesday, the Citizens Movement for Change said it cannot and will not engage in any dialogue with Unity Party, describing it as a party notorious for recklessly betraying Liberians. The Citizens Movement for Change also indicated its reason for establishment, adding that it was founded with a single objective in mind to challenge the misrule of the forces represented by Unity Party. According to the newly established and rapidly growing political party, the ruling party chairman's statement does not only reveal that Unity Party is speculative, but that it has not fully grasped the why behind the CMC's existence. The statement issued under the signature of CMC Media Communications and Press Director Smith Toby pointed out critical issues facing the country, adding that CMC existence stems from a desire for genuine change rather than political posturing. In furtherance, the Citizens Movement for Change emphasized that as a movement, considering talks with Unity Party would serve as a direct contradiction to its vision, sacrifices, and aspirations, stating that its mission is to disrupt the status quo in which corruption, deception, and abuse are normalized by Unity Party. The Citizens Movement for Change at the same time signed a caveat told the ruling Unity Party chairman, challenging him to stop what it calls daydreaming and lived up. Chief Justice Yamin Gbese has vowed to crack down corruption under his watch as Chief Justice of Liberia. In his first official address as Chief Justice, he stressed the need for reform, vowing to confront what he described as long-standing issues of corruption and eroded public trust within the judiciary. Chief Justice Gbese, who spoke in the chambers of the Supreme Court bench before an audience, including Vice President, lawmakers, diplomats, Chief Justice Gbese framed his elevation not as a personal victory, but as a national covenant to restore the rule of law. He pledged zero tolerance for corruption as he announced immediate directives to display anti-bribery notices in all courts, which includes installation surveillance cameras to strategic locations throughout judicial facilities. The Chief Justice added that he will perform the Judicial Inquiry Commission, reform the Judicial Inquiry Commission, a body tasked with investigating ethical violations and misconduct by members of the judiciary. At the same time, Vice President Jeremiah Cohen has reaffirmed the government's full support to the country's judicial system, its role as the custodian of the rule of law. making a brief remark at the formal sitting ceremony of Chief Justice Yami Gbeze and Associate Justice Boaka Kanin, Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn expressed government commitment to what he described as custodian of the rule of law. He described the occasion as a deep national significance, highlighting the importance of a strong and independent judiciary in Liberia's democratic governance. Bomi County Senator Edwin Snow has criticized Justice Minister Oswald Twe for his absence from the official retirement ceremony of former Chief Justice Simon Yo, describing the Justice Minister no show as surprising and disappointing. According to Senator Snow, the absence of Justice Minister Oswald Twe at the retirement ceremony of the outgoing Chief Justice and appearance at the Executive Mansion just hours later for the political commissioning of Justice Yami Gbese and others, describing it as fundamentally political. The Bombing County Senator and head of Liberia's delegation to ECOWAS expressed deep personal concern over what he viewed as troubling. He emphasized that the Justice Minister role extends beyond ordinary cabinet duties. Senator Edwin Snow noted that Justice Minister Oswald Twe, the chief prosecutor, the government's legal advisor, and most importantly, the Dean of the Supreme Court Bar, term as immense legal and constitutional responsibility that should be held without political endurance. The Press Union of Liberia President Julius Kanumba has emphasized the union's commitment to ensuring press freedom and protection of all Liberian journalists amid criminal charges brought against two Liberian journalists in Riverside County. Mr. Kanumba, who elaborated on the union's press statement Wednesday, said unfettered freedom of journalists is of paramount concern to the union and vowed to protect their welfare. Speaking in an interview with Kings FM, the President of Liberia president disclosed that the criminal charges brought against journalists Eric Opado and Mentusila Gay in Riverside County are being handled by the union, adding that the journalist and Anthony at law, Bruce Bowen, has been dedicated to representing the two Liberian journalists who are currently facing criminal charges. Illegal drug smuggling and substance abuse remain high in Liberia despite ongoing national campaign against the drug abuse across the country. Drug abuse have in recent days claimed the lives of several Liberians, predominantly youths, prompting citizens in parts of Monserrate County to carry out ghetto raids. About 38 persons have reportedly died due to illegal drug overdose as of last week, something that posed total fear amongst Liberians as the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency has already warned citizens against raiding ghettos without the agency approval and coordination. Monserrate County District 8 Representative Akaras Gray has raised concerns about the growing economic hardship in Liberia, pointing to the rising prices of basic commodities. Former Representative Akaras Gray noted that commodities including bitter ball pepper, seasoned cubes, okra, and many others have skyrocketed under the Unity Party government. According to him, many Liberians are unable to afford for themselves due to the worsening economic condition. He alleged the government wrongful handling of the drug crisis and contributing to the suffering of vulnerable citizens. Victims of the fire incident on Mecklin Street in central Monrovia are calling on authorities of the government, humanitarian organizations, and philanthropists for assistance to enable them acquire shelters. On Thursday, a devastating fire engulfed homes on Mecklin Street, leaving over three families homeless and affected, including a 1 month old baby, with little known about the actual cause of the fire. Speaking with Kings FM Wednesday, one of the victims, Angeline David, described the fire outbreak as a major setback. According to her, everything, including essential household items and money, were destroyed in the fire, something she said have left them without hope, adding that they are desperately in need of national government assistance. The victims, however, expressed gratitude to their neighbors, whom they said have provided them with daily bread to sustain the young babies and their mothers. They further claimed that despite reaching out to the Liberia Fire Service for prompt response during the fire outbreak, they were let down, resulting to the destruction of their homes. And amid calls for urgent fight against illegal drug surge, Gunter Business Association donated two TV-style motorbikes to the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency Gunter Detachment to enhance its operations. The donation was made by the association just days after citizens of Gunter staged a day-long anti-drug march through the city corporation. In separate remarks, officials of Gunter Business Association described the donation as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen the operations of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency in combating narcotics. They urged the LDEA to use the motorbikes strictly for operational purposes and ensure proper maintenance, calling on stakeholders and other institutions across the county to join hands in supporting security agencies as the anti-drug campaign intensifies. Receiving the donation, the special agent Madison Gilly, acting county commission commander of LDEA, expressed gratitude to the mayor, the business community, and citizens for their support. He described the gesture as a major relief, noting that the mobility has long been a serious challenge for the agency.
Sam Juice with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature on King's Newsroom. A reminder you're listening to King's Newsroom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories we're following tonight: two U.S. congressmen visiting Liberia cover reform in President Donald Trump's policy on immigration and visa restriction across Africa. Said there is no need for visa denial for people seeking entry into the U.S. World Health Organization country representative warns Liberian government against delay in tackling drug smuggling and abuse. Dr. Olusayo Olu emphasizes that Liberia's ongoing drug crisis will erode the future of the nation and its youth. Opposition party Citizens Movement for Change refutes ruling United Party chairman claims of possible discussion for political alliance. CMC vows never to engage into any dialogue with the UP, describing the ruling party as notorious, corrupt, and deceptive. Away from home, M23 rebels killed at least 140 people in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo last month in one of the worst atrocities by the armed group since its insurgency in last or late 2021, Human Rights Watch has said in a report. We'll take a break to be back with voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back and thanks for being there. A two-man delegation of United States Congress who are currently visiting Liberia have frowned on U.S. embassy's denial of Africans who intend to travel to the U.S. Speaking on OKFM Wednesday in Monrovia, Senator Jack Reed and Representative Gabi Amo of Rhode Island emphasized that many citizens of the U.S. are immigrants from other countries, adding that there is no need to reduce the aspect of denial, or there's a need to reduce the aspect of denial of visas for people seeking entry into the U.S. The two U.S. congressmen also called for reforms into President Donald Trump administration policy on immigration and visa restrictions across Africa.
The context that we're in. You know that the Trump administration is working overtime to change many things about our structure. And without being overly critical from a partisan perspective, because I'm here as a representative of the US government, what I would say is as those rules change, we are going to need to advocate in the Congress, certainly from my position on the Foreign Affairs Committee, that we need to have a fairness, that we need to recognize both cultural, family, and economic ties, and that we should certainly, when you zoom out, not have Africa treated in a way that is different than many parts around the world. And so I know that there are long historical things. I can speak to the 21 months that I've been in Congress. And I'll tell you this, there are things and changes that are afoot that I'm going to be speaking towards, because we need to have a thoughtful and responsible approach that recognizes, in fact, the strong ties. I know in Rhode Island, when I hear in our office, I know Senator Reid gets those calls in his office, that we try to support from a constituent services perspective as much as we can on that individual level, knowing that there are broader systems changes that we're undergoing with regard to the whole of our immigration process in our country, as you see in the headlines.
Well, we're in a very interesting moment in American history in which we have an administration that is trying to force out many people. Some of them are very much part of our economy, our life, working hard for the United States. And frankly, we've been a nation of immigrants. If you go far back, any American, his ancestors or her ancestors came, except for our indigenous people. Now, what they're doing is not only expelling people, but they're trying to curtail the entrance of people in. And it has to be done thoroughly and fairly based on the merits of the particular case. The other thing they're doing, which compounds and complicates this, is they're cutting back dramatically on the staff of the State Department that does the analysis and does the recommendations. So, and they're doing that deliberately. They really they don't want new people coming into the United States unless they're coming from scientifically oriented countries, is one way to describe it.
Visiting U.S. Congress, Maine Senator Jack Reed and Representative Gabby Amo, they're speaking on the LA appeal on OKFM. World Health Organization Country Representative Dr. Olusayo Olu has mentioned or cautioned the Liberian government against what she called delayed in the fight against illicit drugs across the country. Speaking Wednesday during the Presidential Multi-Sectorial Committee engagement with service providers and international partners, Dr. Olu said inaction could result in devastating consequences for the country. She warned that if care is not taken immediately, drug crisis could erode the future of the nation and its youth.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I'd just like to join the Honorable Minister to appreciate the good work that you're doing. I'm only 3 to 4 months in the country, but I mean, walking around, I even notice on the street that sometimes drug abuse is a problem. And as you know, these are the couple of years to come, we don't take care of them, and it's going to be problems for us. So we really appreciate the good work you're doing. We continue to support the government of Nigeria in this drive to reduce this scourge, and we will also continue to work with you. We work directly with the Minister of Health. But the Minister said we also have a lot of capacity, around training, around supplies, of course, around guidance and documents that you will find useful. So my colleague is here. I'm sure he will interact with you and let you know more about what you have. So thank you. I hope to listen to you and to take your problems. And I also hope to then use them to see how we can better support the government and of course you. Thank you so much.
He is Dr. Olusaho Olu, World Health Organization country representative. Also addressing theme of medical practitioners and partners and engagement earlier. Health Minister Dr. Louis Boto underscored the role of private sector in implementing or complementing the government's efforts against the fight against drug. According to the health minister, the ministry is in full readiness to work with all sectors and development partners to provide quality services and empower or improve referral pathways for substance users.
I'd like to welcome you on behalf of the President, who sent his greetings also to you. I'd also like to take this time to appreciate you all for the work that you do. We are here today to discuss moving forward. How can the Ministry of Health be a part in assisting you to help the Liberian people with this drug addiction? I also like to inform you that the government is also making efforts, and as the discussion progresses, we'll explain to you some of the efforts that have been made. We have brought in some medication, as well as we are constructing a neuropsychiatric hospital, 300 beds, neuropsychiatric hospital in Pennsylvania. And the president, as you also know, he declared a drug and substance abuse as a public health emergency, which we are treating as such along with your participation. We desire to work with you all. If there are skills that you need, because we have the skills at the Ministry of Health. We have a lot of mental health technicians in the country currently. We have like 11 psychiatrists. So if there are skills you need to know, we are here to provide it. We are also here to let you know the referral pathway, because there are some cases that you may have that you may not be able to handle. So the referral pathway, the toll-free numbers that you'll be able to call us to come and help you with those cases. I also like to acknowledge the presence of the WHO boss, and also the WHO also giving us some medication like antidotes. I also like to inform you that we have in our essential medical supply, we have included some antidotes for drugs and substance abuse users.
Health Minister Dr. Louis Boto. Bomi County Senator Edwin Snow has criticized Justice Minister Councilor Oswald 12 for his absence from the official retirement ceremony of former Chief Justice Yaden Yo. Described the Justice Minister's no-show as surprising and disappointing. According to Edwin Snow, the absence of Justice Minister 12 on the retirement ceremony of the former Chief Justice and subsequent appearance at the Executive Mansion just hours later for Political Commissioner of Justice Yami Gbezi and others, and even he described as fundamentally political. The Bomi senator and head of Liberian delegation to the ECOWAS expressed deep personal concern over what he viewed as troubling for the president.
Retired Chief Justice is my ex-wife. Yes, it was surprising and disappointing that except for the Solicitor General, no other member of the executive was there, but I don't speak for the executive. But what was most disappointing for me, and I speak now as a senator, as an individual, was the absence of the Minister of Justice. In our country, the Minister of Justice is not just an ordinary minister. So you are Minister of Justice, you are the Attorney General, the Republic, the Chief Prosecutor, Minister of Justice. Then you are the Dean of the Supreme Court Bar. In our law, the Minister of Justice can disagree with the President, respectfully disagree with the President. So the President may want to do something, and he will seek the opinion of the Minister of Justice. And the Minister of Justice, Mr. President, as per the law, this is right or this is wrong. So you have that leverage. The Minister of Justice wasn't there. Yes, he was mentioned on the program. He did not attend that program. I still don't know until I can know why he wasn't there as a senator. I think it didn't speak well of him. So Toy is someone I know very well. I have a lot of respect for. And I pray that he wouldn't allow the political nature of his work to take over his profession. But what was disappointing on that day was a few hours later, the Dean of the Supreme Court Bar, who could not attend the Supreme Court function, was at the Executive Mansion attending the political side of that program. What's the political side? Justice, the now Chief Justice, Gbezi, had just got was appointed, was confirmed by the Senate, appointed by the President, and he was going for his commissioning program, which is a testimony of your confirmation by the Senate before you are seated. I think he's scheduled to be seated today. It's a political side of that. the commissioning side. But the Minister of Justice attended that program. Now it's just retirement. Now the two things that happened on that day, it was the close of the March term of court. All right. So the Minister of Justice, the fact that he did not attend that program, but 2 hours or few hours later, he was seen at the executive mansion attending the political side of the commissioning program. I think it didn't speak well.
Bowman County Senator Edwin Snow. A reminder, you're listening to King's Newsroom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories we're following tonight. 2 U.S. congressmen visiting Liberia call for reform in President Donald Trump's policy on immigration and visa restriction across Africa. Say there is no need of visa denial for people seeking entry to the U.S. World Health Organization country representative warns Liberian government against delay in tackling drug smuggling and abuse. Dr. Olusegun Olu emphasizes that Liberia's ongoing drug crisis could erode the future of the nation and its citizens. Opposition party Citizens Movement for Change refutes ruling Unity Party chairman claims of possible discussion for political alliance. CMC vows never to engage into any dialogue with the UP, describing the ruling party as notorious, corrupt, and deceptive. Away from home, M23 rebels killed at least 140 people in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo last month in one of the worst atrocities by the armed group since its insurgents in late 2021, Human Rights Watch has said in a report. A leading conservationist in South Africa charged with smuggling Rhiannon horns worth 14 million has insisted he has nothing to hide. We'll take a break to be back with more voices. Welcome back and thanks for being there. Chief Justice Yami Gbese has vowed to crack down corruption on his watch as Chief Justice of Liberia. In his first official address as Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, Justice Gbese stressed the need for reform, vowing to confront what he described as long-standing issues of corruption and eroded public trust within the judiciary.
I assure you that during my tenure, there will be zero tolerance for corruption and ethical malpractice by judicial action, whether a judge, a lawyer, or a supposed staff. We want to ensure that the judiciary be a place where justice is served to all, the rich or the poor, irrespective of color, free of political connections. Whether the constant talk of corruption in the judiciary is real or perceived, we will put systems in place and take necessary action as preventive measures. For example, signs and signals will be placed on judicial premises in a clear view of the public, warning everyone against engaging, indulging into offering bribe or taking bribe, and other form of corruption. We will install CCTV camera or security camera will be installed in strategic locations.
Chief Justice Yami Gbese. At the same time, Vice President Jeremiah Cohn has reaffirmed the government's full support to the country's judiciary system, its role as the custodian of the rule of law. Making a brief remark at the formal sitting ceremony of Chief Justice Yami Gbese and Associate Justice Bwaka Kanen, Vice President Cohn expressed government commitment to what he described as custodian of the rule of law.
On behalf of Excellency Joseph Yuma Bwaka, Senior President of the Republic of Liberia, it is an honor and distinct privilege to extend warm greetings and best wishes to this distinguished gathering of the former sitting of the Honorable Chief Justice and Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia. Let me begin by extending my profound gratitude to Her Honor, the former Chief Justice, Sianyene G. Yo, for our dedicated service to our nation and its justice system. Honor my valuable contribution, which are well in your retirement. Today is a moment of deep significance for our nation. The Supreme Court, the arbiter of justice, stands as the guardian of our Constitution, the custodian of the rule of law.
For its part, Liberia National Bar Association President Councilor Bonovaman urged Chief Justice Wesi to uphold constitutional integrity amid systemic justice challenges in the country.
On this solemn and historic occasion, I rise on behalf of the Liberia National Bar Association, LMBA, to extend warm congratulations to His Honor Yemi Pope Bessie Senior, Chief Justice of the Honorable Supreme Court of Liberia, and to His Honor Boakai Naman Kane, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia, as you take your seat on the highest bench of our beloved republic. Today is a moment of renewal for our judiciary. The sitting of a Chief Justice and an Associate Justice is more than the filling of vacancies. It is a reaffirmation of our nation's constitutional journey, and it symbolizes the enduring strength of our rule system, and it reminds us that while personalities may change, the sacred duty of upholding justice remains constant. Chief Justice Bassett, Senior, and Associate Justice Cannon, you assume these reverend offices.
Liberia National Bar Association President Councilor Bonovama. The President of Liberia, President Julius Kanova, has emphasized the union's strong commitment to ensuring press freedom and protection of all Liberian journalists amidst criminal charges brought against two Liberian journalists in Rivers County. Kanova, who elaborated on the union's press statement issued Wednesday, said, "Unfiltered freedom of journalists is of paramount concern to the union and vow to protect their welfare." In an interview with King's FM, the PUL president disclosed that the criminal charges brought against journalists Eric Opadu and Mentuslai Gay in Rivers County have been handled by the union, adding that journalist and anti-nat law Bronze Boy has been dedicated to represent the two Liberian journalists who are currently facing criminal charges.
Our dear colleagues and members of the Press Union of Liberia is pleased to report that we have deployed a distinguished journalist and attorney at law, Bruce Boy, to represent two Liberian journalists, Eric Opado and Metusula Gay, who currently facing criminal charges in Rivers County. They are facing the charges of criminal contempt of court, criminal coercion. Those charges stem from publications by these journalists that allege corruption within the Yapatan Magisterial Court, specifically claims of bribery and the controversial release of a police officer allegedly apprehended with narcotics. We sent Bruce to ensure freedom of these journalists so that they can be free from the criminal charges against them. We are very cognizant of the fact that these journalists need unfettered freedom, which is of paramount concern to the Press Union of Liberia. Bruce, the attorney at law who we've dispatched to Rivers County, is a former editor at the Liberia Broadcasting System. He's also an award-winning judicial correspondent of the XY Independent Star.
PUL President Julius Kanamba. Monserrado County District 8 former Representative Akaros Grade has raised concerns about the growing economic hardship in Liberia, pointing to rising prices of basic commodities. Grade noted that commodities including beta ball, purple, seasoned cubes, okra, among many others, prices have skyrocketed under the Unity Party-led government.
Inflation can kill you because guess what? The people are hungry in the country. The hardship has increased. The prices of locally produced commodities or basic commodities, consumable commodities, okay, the prices have increased from beta ball to pepper to okra to salt to chicken soup to rice. And you can go on and on, potato green, palawa sauce, eggplants. You can go on and name them. Cool, everything. The prices have gone up and skyrocketed under this administration. Okay, so people are sorry, people are hungry. If you think online, take the microphone right out into the communities around here and speak to the people. The condition in Liberia is terrible.
Monserrado County District 8 former Representative Akaros Gray. Victims of a fire incident on Meglin Street in Central Monrovia are calling on authorities of the Liberian government, humanitarian organization, and philanthropists for assistance to enable them acquire shelter. Speaking with King's FM reporter Wednesday, one of the victims, Angeline David, described the fire outbreak as a major setback.
As you can see the place, right now we not get sleeping place, no clothes. Okay, young baby, 3 month old baby, the baby share to my friend place down there. Nothing we want to say, everything got damaged, the house got burnt to ashes. Up to now, nobody ever come to our aid. Only you here today are so happy for you to come and interview me to ask maybe through you help will come because it's not easy on us.
Yeah, we hope for that. So tell us, how many bedrooms got burned?
A 2 bedroom apartment for myself.
And so currently, where are you lodged?
What? I'm sleeping with my friend and my woman with the baby to her mother place. We not get nowhere to go right now. Nothing. Everything go away from us.
One of the victims of a recent fire outbreak on Meglin Street. Illegal drug smuggling and substance abuse remain high in Liberia despite ongoing national campaign against drug abuse across the country. Drug abuse have in recent days claimed the lives of several Liberians, predominantly youth, prompting citizens in parts of Montserrat to carry out ghettos raid. About 38 persons have been reported dead due to illegal drug overdose as of last week, something that have created total fear among citizens, as the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency has already warned citizens against raiding ghettos without approval of the agency and its coordination. Eyewitnesses on Wednesday said an unidentified man lost his life after reportedly consuming the substance, which is increasingly circulated in a local community.
Please share the video. Those of you that are watching Custody Boulevard 1502. That is the Bannersville area. Just this morning, community dwellers are all worried this morning. This is something very serious. 1502 community, the Justice Enforcement Agency, the Liberian National Police.
Away from home, M23 rebels killed at least 140 people in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo last month in one of the worst atrocities by the armed group since its insurgents in late 2021, Human Rights Watch has said in a report. This is despite a peace process brokered by the US and Qatar to end the conflict in the region. Witnesses told the advocacy group that the Rwanda-backed rebels similarly executed local residents including women and children, largely from the Hutu ethnic group in the area. And a leading conservationist in South Africa charged with smuggling rhino horns worth 14 million has insisted he has nothing to hide. In a statement, John Hume, the former owner of what is thought to be the world's largest rhino farm, denied allegations that he trafficked the horns from South Africa to Southeast Asia. The 83-year-old man and 5 others, including a lawyer and a game reserve manager, have appeared in court on 55 charges, including theft, money laundering, and fraud. Well, on that note, that's how we come to a near end of this edition of King's Newsroom. Before we leave, a quick reminder of stories we followed in the headlines. 2 U.S. congressmen visiting Liberia call for reform in President Donald Trump's policy on immigration and visa restriction across Africa, said there is no need for visa denial for people seeking entry to the U.S. World Health Organization country representative warns Liberian government against delay in tackling drug smuggling and abuse. Dr. Olusegun Olu emphasizes that Liberia's ongoing drug crisis will erode the future of the nation and its youth. Opposition party Citizens Movement for Change refutes ruling Unity Party chairman claims of possible discussion for political alliance. CMC vows never to engage into any dialogue with UP, describing the ruling party as notorious, corrupt, and deceptive. Away from home, M23 rebels killed at least 140 people in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo last month in one of the worst atrocities by the armed group since its insurgents in late 2021, Human Rights Watch has said in a report. The leading conservationist in South Africa charged with smuggling running horns worth 14 million has insisted he has nothing to hide. Many thanks to our reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in making this edition of King's Newsroom a success. Sam Andrews brought you the news bulletin. Stephen Conton sat at control and handled the technical aspect of this edition. On behalf of the team, I'm Shemon Dale. I presented. Thanks for listening and watching.